Welcome to the first episode of a multi-part series that will teach you how to code a Bukkit plugin. This will be a pretty extensive series. We'll have all types of things being taught in this series. And mainly we're going to be focusing on all the basic stuff. The more advanced stuff we'll kind of cover in this series. So anyway, why not get started? So to get started with coding plugins, you obviously need Java, since all plugins that you code for Bukkit are made in Java. So you're going to want to open up this page right here. I'll leave a link down below in the description. And all you're going to want to download is the JDK and the JRE. The JRE is the Java Runtime Environment, and the JDK is the Java Development Kit. I'd expect you already have the JRE, so you just want to click right here to download the JDK. And it will just open up the link. You'll have to click Accept License Agreement right over here. And then select whichever one you need right here. Anyway, that's about it for installing the JDK. Also, you want to install a program called Eclipse, which I have down here. And this is a really good program. It's the best, in my opinion, for like the free IDEs that you can use to code plugins. So I'll leave a link down below in the description so you can download that as well. Alright, so on to part 1 of this video. So we're going to open up Eclipse right here. It's going to bounce in our dock. Keep in mind I'm using Mac, but all the stuff that we do on Mac here is also the same exact on Windows. And I may have some episodes on Windows and some episodes on Mac, just to show you how Java is a flexible coding language and works on multiple operating systems. Alright, so when you first start up, you're going to be greeted with this prompt, and you're going to see I already have a workspace set up, but you're just going to want to set up a workspace. So I'll just call this the tutorial workspace. And you'll just call it whatever you want, and then just click OK. Alright, so when you have Eclipse first load up, this is pretty much what it's going to look like. To make your workspace the optimal environment, I would actually just recommend clicking on these kind of rectangular icons right here, and closing off all the panels you have on the side here. These are pretty much unnecessary when coding Bukkit plugins and just take up extra screen real estate. Alright, so now you've got your main panel here and your package explorer. Now all your packages will be listed down here, as I'll show you in a second, but before we can get started, we obviously have to create a new Java project, so just right click, click New, and Java Project. Alright, so now it's going to prompt you with this, and it's going to ask you to make up a name. So for this tutorial, you can probably create any name you want. It doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to call it Tutorial 1 just for my reference. And then just press Enter or click Finish down below. Alright, so now, right here, as you can see, the Package Explorer, just click on this right triangle right here, and then you'll be greeted with this. So you have your source folder. So before we can get started, we actually need the jar file for the newest Craft Bukkit or Spigot. Doesn't matter, just depends which one you're coding for. So once you've got that already, I've already got it in my Documents folder, so just right-click this folder for the Java project, click Properties. Alright, now once you're over here, you'll see Java Build Path on right here on the left bar, and then you're just going to click Libraries tab right here, and click Add External Jars. Alright, so just navigate to where your jar is stored. So mine is in Spigot Builds, and I'm going to use Craft Bukkit for this one, just to make it more standard, and click Apply, and OK. Just a note, Spigot and Bukkit are the same thing, doesn't really matter which one you choose. Alright, congratulations, you've made through part 1 of this video. So for part 2 of this video, we're going to start setting up the plugin. So first, as you can see, we already got the source folder. We talked about this earlier in the video. Just right-click the source folder, and click New, and Package. Alright, so at this point, it's kind of a thing that depends on whether you have a website or not. If you have a website, you're going to type com.your website. So basically, it's just like a backwards website, and that's how all programmers do this. Personally, I do not have a website, so I'm just going to type me.techtoolbox, which is my in-game name, and then your package name. So my package name would be Tutorial 1. Okay, so now you're going to start by creating a main class. So you're going to right-click your package right here, and you're going to click on New and Class. So it doesn't really matter what you call this, but it can be called a matter of things from main class to main to anything you really want to call it, as long as you can reference it as the main class. So I'm just going to call it main for reference. And the class should automatically open up in your viewing pane right here, so let me just load that up, and there you go, we have this. Alright, so to let it notify that this is a Bukkit plugin or a Spigot plugin, we're going to need to go to the third line that it automatically generates, and we're going to type extends Java plugin. Alright, so you're going to see it is actually underlined as a wrong thing, and just mouse over it and click import. So you're going to have to do this a lot of times throughout this tutorial. I recommend using the shortcut Control-Shift-O, or on Mac, Command-Shift-O to import all your things pretty easily. So what we just added to the main class, which says extends Java plugin, basically lets Java know, or the plugin manager know, that this is a Java plugin and this is the main class. Only your main class should have this line. Alright, so if you start on line 7, or any line that you're starting on, just type public void on enable, opening and closing parenthesis, and bracket enter. Alright, so you'll see that this says on enable, so what I recommend doing is just copying and pasting this, obviously, and just changing this to on disable. Okay, so let me explain what these two lines do. So on enable basically runs things when the plugin is enabled in the console. When the plugin is disabled, like when you're shutting down the server, it will show all the stuff inside these brackets. So that's pretty much how it works. Pretty simple, not too hard. Alright, so now, usually when plugins start up, they usually notify the console that their plugin is started. So to get a message out to the console, you're just going to type system.out.println. And yeah, I seem to have misspelled that, so I'm going to type that again. There you go, and then opening and closing parenthesis and semicolon. So in Java, to end a statement, you always need a semicolon. Pretty simple. In here, you're just going to put double quotes, and then you're just going to type what message you want in the console. So I'm going to do tutorial, well, I guess tutorial plugin works. Alright, and this is going to show up in the console when the plugin starts up. So it's pretty easy. You could just copy and paste over to here, and you could just say plugin, tutorial plugin shutting down. Alright. Yeah, so that is a bit sarcastic right there, you know, plugin shutting down, oh no. Pretty much, that's what we got for the main class. Alright, so let's review. What we've got here is we got extends Java plugin, which basically lets the plugin manager or the plugin loader, which is Bucket, know that this is the main class of the Java plugin, and that all things inside here correspond to the spigot or bucket jar. This next statement will run anything between these two brackets when the plugin starts up in the console. So you can have anything you want. So you can even have more messages or other things that I'll show you later on in this video that you can put inside the onEnable class. And then the last one we have is on disable, same thing as onEnable, but all the stuff inside here runs on plugin disable. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to make your first command, and I'm going to set this plugin up so it has different packages for commands. So you're going to go over here to the sidebar again. You're just going to right click on your main package, right click, click new, and click package. So right here you'll have a prompt. Just type at the end of it .commands or something similar to that to let you know that commands are inside this other package. Alright, so then you're going to right click this new package, click new, and again you're going to click class, and now you're going to decide what you want your command to be. Now it doesn't matter at this stage, but it kind of helps if you already decide what the command is going to be. So my command is going to be /tutorial, so /tutorial and command. Alright, and then you're just going to click finish down over here. It's going to create the class. And we're going to do something a bit different this time. As you can see, we did extends Java plugin in this main class, and as I said before, we can only have that in one class. So we need to link this tutorial command class somehow to this main class. Everything needs to be linked to the main class in order to work since this extends. So we're going to do that by basically going on the first line here and doing implements. And you're going to type command executor. Alright, so we're going to use our handy dandy shortcut, and we're going to do Command-Shift-O on our keyboard, or Control-Shift-O, and it should import, and pretty much this says it's wrong, so you're just going to mouse over it and just click Add Unimplemented Methods. Now this is the easy way of creating your command thing, and you'll have that. Okay, so pretty easy. We got on command and that, so what I recommend doing is going over here so where it says argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, and argument... basically that's how Java counts. It starts with 0. But we're just going to type sender just to make that easy. Right here, we're just going to type CMD. Under string, we're going to label that as label. And then on the last argument, we're just going to title it args for arguments. Okay, so basically what we've done right here is with this override statement, we just let Bukkit know that we're overriding basically any commands that are in there with our own custom command. So we basically have our thing. We have public boolean. Now boolean, if you probably know Java, you probably know this is a true or false statement. Hence we have a return false right here. I'll explain that in a bit. But pretty much, yeah, we have on command, which lets Bukkit know that when we have a command, and then we have a command sender, which is going to be sender. This is a value we can use. Command, which is going to be cmd, which we can use. String label, and string args. Okay. So that's pretty much simple. One thing I recommend doing is going down here and actually changing this to true. I'll explain that maybe a little bit later, but pretty much the reason you want to do it to true is because if you set it to false, every time you run the command, it's going to say what the command it's going to run the command, but at the same time it's going to like put slash and then the command name in chat, which is kind of annoying and you really don't want that. So now it's pretty easy for what we're going to do, and we're going to basically just declare the player variable. So I'm going to do player with a capital P and player with a lowercase p equals inside parentheses capital player, and then outside the parentheses you're just going to type sender, and don't forget to put the semicolon as we've talked about before. Use our shortcut again, command shift O, and it should import all the players and it should be fine. It's fine if you have warnings, those don't really affect how your plugin works, and we can basically fix that in the next line. So the next thing we need to do is we need to check if the command sender is a player. If it's not a player and it's the console, then it will basically spit out a few errors or a bunch of errors in the console, and you don't want to do that if you have a good plugin. So it's a pretty easy line where it's going to be an if statement, and I'm pretty sure if you know Java, you probably know what an if statement is, but you're just going to do if, and you're going to do sender instance of player. So basically this checks if the sender is an instance of player. So pretty easy. So we're going to do that. And all your other main command goes in here, so let's skip that for now. And as you know, an if statement must have an else statement at the end, so we're just going to do that. Else, and then here we're going to leave that blank for now. Alright, so here we have our if statement. So inside here, you're just going to put what you want the command to do. So we're going to send a message to the player. So I'm going to do player dot send message with all lowercase. So send message. And the easy thing you can do is you can actually press enter if one of these is selected. You can actually use your arrow keys on your keyboard to mouse between these handy selections, but yeah, you can do that. And inside here, but don't forget to put the quotes and just put what you wanted to say. So this works. So to add a color to this statement, you're just going to type chat color, and then just do Control Shift O to import chat color. And once you've imported chat color, just go to translate alternate color codes. Inside here, we're going to put the and sign, as it's pretty typical for Bukkit plugins nowadays. And let's delete this right here, as we have the text in there. Add an extra parenthesis, and pretty much here you have that. So all we did is we just added this chat color statement, and this translate alternate color codes basically lets it know that we can use this symbol to indicate what color we want. And if you know how color codes work, then this is pretty much how you do it. So you do and 6, and I'll have a handy dandy color chart up on the screen right now if you want to know the colors, but pretty much, yeah, you can use and 6 for, I'm pretty sure it's gold, and pretty much that's how it's going to work. Now, it's a bit different for the, it's a bit different if your sender is not an instance of player, because it's most likely going to be the console, and you can't use player because the console is not a player, so we're going to use sender. That send message, and it works the same exact way, except this time you can't really use chat color because it kind of messes up in the terminal. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna say, hey, you can't use this in the terminal or something. Okay, so we got this far. Now, so far this is not gonna work completely because we need to add this to the onEnable class. As you can see, this command works, but it's not actually linked to the main class as we've talked about before. So this is pretty simple to link it. All you need to remember is this tutorial command. So just go into your onEnable statement, just press enter, and make a new line. And pretty much all you're just going to do Control-Shift-O to import, and this statement should work now. So as you can see, that works. Now there's one more last thing to add, and this is really important because otherwise your plugin will not work without it, and it's called a plugin.yml. Okay, so to create your plugin.yml, you're just going to go over here, and you're going to right-click, click New, File, and you're just going to type plugin.yml. Click Finish, and it's just going to create it up, and open. Okay, so this is pretty easy now. You're just going to type the name of your plugin that you want to be in /plugins. So let's do tutorial. Alright, tutorial plugin. Then you're going to make a new line. You can do version. So this is version, I guess, 1.0, we'll say. Then you're going to do the location to your main class. Now, just make sure you don't mess this up, otherwise it won't work. So as you can see, our main class is right here. So we're going to type the name of the package, dot, and then the name of this class. So let me show you. So mine is me.techtoolbox.tutorial1, and then .main. And that's all you need to put. You don't need to put the .java. And then you can also put a description right here. So description tutorial. And that's pretty much all you need to make this work. Now, also you want to register your commands. So just obviously, if you have a command, you're just going to register that. Now make sure you don't use tabs. Just use 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, or any amount of spaces that you want. Just keep it uniform. And just what your command is going to be. So my command is tutorial. And then, yeah, you could put a description for it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Usage. I'm going to put usage, and that'd be like slash command usage, or slash command, or something like that. Okay, so that's pretty much all we've got. That's all we really need. So just close out a plugin.yml. And we're just going to export this right now. So all we're going to go to is right click on tutorial 1, click export, and you're going to find a folder where you want to export. So we're going to click Java, and we want to export as a jar file. Click next down here, and then we want to make sure all these are checked. Click browse, and you want to browse to your Spigot test server. Now I don't actually show you how to set this up here, but I'm pretty sure you can find any tutorial on the internet on how to make it. But pretty much, you just want to set up a small bucket test server so you can easily test. So you're just going to take that. And as you can see, I already have one plugin that I tested before. So right here in the Save As category, you're just going to type a name. So tutorial 1 plugin. And all you're going to do is click Save, Finish. Okay, and it should save. And there you go, it's saved. Now the next part's pretty easy. You're just going to open up your test server. I have my test server here. And plugins. And I'm actually going to delete this just to make sure it doesn't mess with anything. And just start up your server. So I'm going to open up the .command. And make sure in the console, if you look through the console, make sure you have your statements that you put in your onEnable class, which I'm just going to remind you are these right here. So you should see tutorial plugin works, and you should also see tutorial plugin is shutting down. Oh no, when you're shutting down the server. So just wait until the server loads up, and you'll probably see them. Okay, so now you should see that your plugin works. As you can see, we have tutorial plugin works as our thing that we stated here. So if we go back into Eclipse, you can see tutorial plugin works. That's exactly what we had. And this thing right here just says enabling tutorial plugin version 0.1. Now we didn't actually put that in the onEnable class or on the enable statement, but it still puts it in. That's one thing that Bucket does. I'm not sure actually how to remove it completely, but that's pretty much how it works. So I'm just gonna go ahead and test the server. So I'm gonna put it right here so you can see the server, and we're gonna go back into the game and just load up the server. So as we can connect to our localhost. Okay, so we've logged in, and easy thing to do to test is just do /tutorial. And if we do that command, as you can see, this works. So pretty much that's all it does. And the console, you can see it says /tutorial. If we run tutorial in console, as we have programmed it, it should technically not work. Yeah, And that's pretty much all we've got so far, but if we do /plugins or /pl, as you can see, the name that we put in our plugin.yml shows right here. Pretty good. And if we go ahead and stop the server, we're going to stop the server here, so just to see the end message, As you can see right here, it says tutorial plugin shutting down. Oh no, that's exactly what we'll put in our Eclipse. And that's right here. And that's pretty much all I'm going to show you in this video. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. And if you really liked it, then make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode, which will be learning how to make listeners.